Hi and welcome to Nurses Move, the channel dedicated to nurses who want to move abroad. Today we are with Rachel Katchal, and she is an American nurse who lives and works in UK. Hi Rachel, how are you doing?
Hi Dina, I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you very much for staying with us today to share your experience and your knowledge about moving abroad as a nurse.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I would like to ask you some question about your experience as an overseas nurse, if you are happy.
Yes, yeah.
But first, can you introduce yourself and you tell us why you become a nurse, when, where? Thank you very much.
Yeah, like Dina said, my name's Rachel. I'm an American nurse. I'm from a little state called Indiana in America. The largest big city nearby is Chicago. So it's still 4 hours away, but in the expanse of America, many people tend to know Chicago. So a few hours away from there is where I lived, and I went to school to become a nurse near there. I became a nurse because really, at the end of the day, because I wanted to be able to use my career to travel, and whether that was by using nursing as a means to go to other countries, or to always know that if I did take a few months off or an extended period of time off, I'd always be able to come back and have a job as a nurse. I didn't know quite how it was going to work out, but that's why I became a nurse, along with just enjoying the career and the science behind it. I grew up in a family of nurses, and it just came naturally, I suppose. And I graduated nursing school in 2015, so I've been a nurse now for 6 years.
Great, thank you. So when you decide to move abroad, that you said that you wanted to become a nurse also for enjoying traveling, but when you decide, okay, this is the time now to move abroad.
The year before I graduated nursing school, I studied abroad in the UK. And as soon as I left, I thought, how can I come back? I just loved the culture. I loved the country. I loved the cheap travel to Europe. Hopefully that will return after all of this COVID nonsense. And I suppose I started seriously looking at my options in 2016, at the end of 2016. So I'd been a nurse for about 18 months. And I first thought I would go to Ireland. I started looking at all those options. There was a group of people that were also interested in it. And then I pursued that for a little while, and something about it didn't feel quite right. I didn't think it was quite for me. So I decided, I think I really want to go back to the UK. And I started that process shortly after that. I think I took my first exam in 2016, December 2016, the CBT. And it took an entire year to get all the paperwork done before I could move over.
Yes, because I don't know if you know, but for European nurses, the process is slightly different because our bachelor degrees is recognized. So we don't do all the process you do from American, for example, or could be also Africa, India, or New Zealand, or anywhere else outside Europe. We just do it our English exam. So yes, I know this slide is different. So how long does it take the process to go through your PIN number, because this is the name, the registration?
Yes, for me, it took 12 months the whole time. I had to take an IELTS exam. I had to take the English exam. I had to take a computer-based nursing exam, CBT, which is a computer-based test. And then I had to also take an OSCE in country. So the only places that they offer the exam are in the UK. So you don't really know if you can stay in country until you take that exam and pass. So you have the option of taking it before you have a job, just flying over for a week, taking the exam and flying back home. Obviously, now with COVID, that is less of an option. And lots of trusts are able to sponsor people to come over, and then they train them up for the OSCE, and then they take the OSCE and stay employed with the trust the whole time. And that's what I ended up doing. So I had moved over, and about 3 months after I moved, I took the OSCE and passed, which was a huge relief.
Well done. Yes, of course. I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes, because for us, for European, it's easy to move inside the Europe and as well in UK, also if it's not European country anymore. But yes, if I have to go to America, United States or Canada or anywhere else, I have to do a longer process as well as you did.
Yes.
So yes, yes, I believe this is a long process, but it's a safety process to give recognized job opportunity to everybody. And so where are you at the moment in UK?
Yeah, I'm in Norfolk, so East Anglia.
It's very nice because you've got an Instagram profile that is beautiful, and you've got a web channel as well. We're going to talk about in a minute now. But just stay with this moving process. How was this moving process for you? It was stressful, okay, but do you think it's doable to everybody, or it's just, few people can do it?
Yeah. Like I said, the admin was probably the most frustrating part of it all. And that kind of was the beginning of my culture shock before I even moved over. So in America, everybody's connected to work all the time. There's not very much work-life balance. So you get responses from people very quickly. And in the UK, the work-life balance is better, much better, which I appreciate now that I'm here. But on the other side of things, trying to get paperwork done, getting responses for various things, it takes a long time, a lot longer than I was used to. So a process that I thought would take 3, 5, 6 months took 1 year, and that was difficult. And trying to translate my degree and my credentials to the UK system was difficult because they didn't obviously know the US system. They had no reason to. And since I hadn't moved yet, I didn't quite know the UK system, so I couldn't really tell them what the equivalent was. But I had, thankfully, some really lovely people that I was talking to, and they helped figure out what needed to be done. My trust was great at supporting overseas nurses through the process, and in the end, we got it done. Preparing for the move was okay. It was stressful for my family. I think when you move abroad, it's always stressful. For me, it was 4,000 miles and a big ocean between us. We couldn't have prepared for a pandemic, but we're getting through it. It's all right. We'll hopefully see each other soon. And yeah, then there was the OSCE, and after that was done, it was a huge relief, and settling in came very easily after that. I was a labor and delivery nurse in America, which is a position that they don't have here in the UK. So transitioning from that to theater nursing, which is what I moved into. It was different, but I think it was set up in a really well-structured environment where they had good support for every new employee, and that helped a lot.
Good. So you think this is doable to everybody?
I do, yeah. I think it's definitely doable for anybody who wants to do it. But I think you also have to know why you're doing it and be convinced that it's what you want to do, because you have to really persevere. It's not going to be easy every step of the way, but if you have that desire to do it, then it can be really good.
Exactly. It's worth it. Yeah. So you talk about cultural shock. Did you notice any difference, because there are no, you notice any difference between American nursing versus British nursing?
Yes, I think there are quite a few differences. I touched on moving from one specialty to another. So in many ways, I don't have direct comparisons between my job in the UK and what that's like here. I did shadow a midwife, so some of the practices, the details of the practices that are different, I haven't had a chance to necessarily pick it apart. But in general, the scope of practice of a nurse in the US is much bigger. We, we do really in-depth assessments. We have a lot more autonomy, and here it strikes me that the ward nurses don't have as much autonomy. But then when you get into certain specialties, there are ways to gain even more autonomy than there are in the US. So it's kind of a strange comparison, maybe. There's no direct equivalent.
Yes, it's kind different in Italy as well. In Italy, we are all like a practitioner in terms of technical skill, but actually we are not independent because always we have to reach the doctor approvals or doctor instructions. So it's strange because we able to do a lot of different stuff, but we are not independent. And here, we gain independence step by in UK. Sorry, because I am in UK as well. In UK, you gain your independence step by step, and yes, you reach high level actually, like your junior doctor sometime if you keep going.
Yeah. Yes, and in theater there are quite a few different options to develop your skills and to advance, and I don't think those would be available in the same way to nurses in the US. So I do think in certain specialties there are niches that you can get into and find yourself at a junior doctor level, which just wouldn't be the case in the US. But the general ward nurse doesn't often have those niches that they can step into.
Exactly.
So it can be much different depending on where you are in the hospital. And I think one of the biggest things that shocked me when I came over was that everything needed to be signed off.
Exactly. Yes.
There is a tick box for everything. So some skills that I had been doing since I was a nursing student, I could no longer do, like IV cannulation and IV drugs and catheterization, and particularly male catheterization. So everything needed to be signed.
Yes, Mom, I was experienced too. Yes, I can understand you absolutely. And what about work-life balance?
It's
Comparing to
completely
Italy?
different. Yeah, in America, we get about 4 weeks off a year. So, depending on your experience and your employer, you may have a little bit more than 4 weeks, but generally speaking, you have between 2 and 4 weeks of time off in America. But in the UK, you start off right away with nearly 7 weeks of time off, which is, unheard of. And they encourage you to take it, 2 weeks every quarter. And I thought, I'm still in orientation. Like I shouldn't take time off when I'm in orientation. And they thought, oh no, you need to take some time off. Go home, get away. I thought, oh, this is really strange. I need to be here and I need to learn and I need to make sure they know I'm a good employee, because that's how we thought about it in America. And slowly but surely, I've learned the UK ways and learned that taking time off is very important and getting away from work and letting your mind rest is really important as well. So I think the work-life balance here is much more healthy, and I appreciate it.
And also the sick leave,
Yes, yeah.
and maybe you haven't got yet experience, but I've been in maternity leave as well, and they pay 100% for 6 months. So, and then also 30%. So it's very nice. And also they've got this positive team work that is very nice. I don't know in your area, but in my area, they really want to build this good positive teamwork.
Yeah. I think the first week I was in theaters, the surgeons bought the team coffee like 4 out of the 5 days that I worked. And that was new and different for me. And I think because in the US, the doctors are paid differently. They're paid by the surgery that they do. The theater environment has a reputation for being quite strict and regimented and really fast paced. And here, we do everything as a team. The doctors are paid by the day, just like we are. And we do everything at a safe pace. And it doesn't feel like we're rushing through anything for um, no, no gain, I guess.
Yes, it's nice. Rachel, you've got a nice website, as I said before, and this is your project. You would like to talk about your project because you help other American nurses to move to UK. It's a nice project. You want to talk about it, please?
Yeah, so last year in April, I started a website called EHYYYY.com to share my experience as an American nurse moving to the UK. So I talk about the process of becoming a nurse to getting my registration and getting my degree recognized, moving to the UK, settling in as an expat, and traveling throughout the UK. And I try to share my experience to help other people who are just thinking about it back home, don't know where to start. It can be an overwhelming experience, a really frustrating one if you don't know a little bit about nursing in the UK. And then once you arrive, it can also feel overwhelming trying to learn a profession that you've been in maybe a year, maybe 10 years, and you have to learn it all over again.
Exactly.
So just knowing that you have someone there to share their experience and maybe create a community of people who are going through it as well can help in ways that you can't imagine. So I like to share that on my blog, and I like to share my new home, Norwich, on my Instagram. And I have a Facebook group that I co-lead called American Nurses in the UK, where we have a community that we support each other. And if you're American and you'd like to have some more knowledge about how to move to the UK, you can find me and ask any questions that you'd like.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing. Yes, I believe that sharing experience helps others to understand better the process, yes, but also to take the courage to do it because we scare about the not knowing. So if we got a little piece of experience from somebody else, we more open, I believe, to start a kind of process or to start a new adventure. Yes, so
Yeah, it's always the unknown that's the scary part. And once you're able to wrap your head around it, it becomes a manageable endeavor. And that's kind of what I aim to do, is to give people the information they need to take that first step.
exactly, absolutely. Also because there are moving abroad is very deep in some population, but not in some other. For example, Philippine nurses, they really habit to move abroad and they know everything about every country. For Italian nurse like me, for example, we just started to move abroad. So for us, it's a new process as well. So I believe so for American as well.
Yeah, I think there's a very small percentage of Americans who ever leave the country to live for an extended period of time. And typically, what I found is that a lot of people quit their jobs and travel. And that wasn't really going to be an option for me. I wanted to continue growing my career, to learn a different way of life, and uh, in order to sustain a long enough period outside of the country, you have to have permission to do it. You can't just move anywhere you want for any reason that you want as an American, and you have to get a visa and have a reason to be resident in the country. So nursing was a great window of opportunity for me to get that working visa and to stay. And then once I get indefinite leave, I'll have a few more options. I think I have a partner here now. He is English, so I will always be in the UK for one reason or another. I'll always have some time living in the UK, but I would like to explore some more flexible arrangements, working part-time perhaps and traveling a bit more.
Yeah.
So I think having those opportunities in the future is really exciting.
Absolutely, yes. So have you never think about come back or stay, maybe, yes, thinking about this new opportunity, or also never think about move abroad again?
I think I have of course thought about moving back home. I think everybody who moves abroad entertains the idea of going back home at some point. Maybe it's just because you're homesick.
Yeah.
But practically speaking, because I have my partner here now, I think I'll always be connected to the UK and living in the UK. I just hope I'll be able to visit my family a bit more regularly in the future. I wouldn't be against moving to another country. It's a really good experience, but I don't think it would be a permanent move. But who knows? Canada would be, Canada would be fantastic. Could go and be closer to my family and take my boyfriend along and live there. And similarly, a small stint in New Zealand would be quite exciting if farther away from America.
Yeah.
I don't think I could live there forever or in Australia, but I think going and seeing what it's all about would be good. I haven't looked into the process. So if it's as difficult as the one I went through, as long, I guess, because it's not, each step isn't necessarily very difficult. It's just a long process. So
Yeah,
I would have
exactly.
to really know why I was doing it to be able to go through it again.
Yeah, exactly. No. I sympathize with you. It's absolutely, yeah, right. And so have you got any advice to give to maybe student nurses who want to look around? Because of course the world now gives a lot of opportunity all around for nurses. Oh, any advice to nurses who may be feeling burnout that they think they have to stop their career? Maybe instead they should move abroad and start a new life in another place.
Yeah, I think if you have something like this in mind, you should go for it. One of the things that I did to convince myself that this move would be okay was I told myself I could always go back home if I really didn't like it. That was always going to be an option. So that gave me the little bit of courage that I needed to try something new. And it doesn't have to be permanent. Now that I'm here, I've been here 3.5 years. I think it would be a shame to move before I get indefinite leave. But I'm quite happy here with all of the benefits of working for the NHS, and like we
Yeah.
mentioned, work-life balance. It pays for itself tenfold. But I do think if you're unhappy where you are for whatever reason, for example, in America, if you want to do more traveling, if you want to work less or have better work-life balance, there are opportunities out there. There are places where you can be a nurse that have those priorities in mind culturally. So you can always give it a go.
Yes, UK is not bad, as you say. The weather not bad. As you can see, I've got just the sun
You've
in
got
front of
sun.
me. I just can't. Sorry, I just yes.
Yes, you have to enjoy it when it comes around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it's nice. UK, yes, it's nice. We there at the end in the south. I'm in the south, but when the sun come out, it's nice to enjoy.
Definitely.
Rachel, thank you very much to be with us today to share your experience. I'm happy if somebody wants to reach out to you.
Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I can leave the link of your Instagram profile, your website, as well down in the description below, so you can contact Rachel whenever you want. Thank you very much, Rachel. Again, thank you to everybody watching this video. If you like the video, please give us a thumb up and subscribe to the channel. Rachel, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dina.